Okay, I'm going to start. Hold on. All right, good morning, everybody. All right, let's get started. Right, US stocks closed flat on the day. They traded positive for most of the day, and still struggling to get above that 1850 level that Joe's been talking about over the last few days. So as Joe mentioned, time and price is important. Spends a lot of time around this area, can't break through. The chances are that it's going to break to the downside. So obviously, the sooner it breaks through there, the more chance there is of a follow through to the upside. So continue to monitor that level. It definitely seems to be spending some time there. New home sales came out surprisingly strong. Economists expected a decline for the month. And then in Asia, shares rebounded from earlier losses. China was up for the first time after a few days. Hang Seng was strong. Aussie and Nikkei struggled. As you can see there, Tencent continued to rise into new record high territory. I think they were up 5% on the day. Investors speculating that there could be possible M&A action following the Facebook WhatsApp deal that's grabbing the headlines. All right, a lot of corporate action out today. A lot of South African stocks reporting earnings. Bidvest came out more or less in line with guidance, slightly better dividend, and revenue also looks like it was better than the original estimate. Grindrod headline earnings per share in line, slightly smaller dividend. Massmart, slight miss on headline earnings per share, doesn't look like it's much. Slightly smaller dividend, and they came out with a comment, whilst we remain cautious about the economy, we are much more positive about the business as we reap the rewards from the operational focus of last year. Liberty came in with headline earnings, looked like it was quite a decent beat, but that's the Bloomberg estimate. I'm not sure if they came out with a trading statement at all. Impala Platinum, headline earnings per share 142, expected 160. I think there was a trading statement that was even higher than 160, so it looks like a miss on Impala's at first glance. Revenue was higher though, and no dividend being paid. The original expectation was for 40 cents. So Impala's had quite a steep sell-off yesterday. Let's see if it continues today, or whether it can hold that sort of support at 112. Murray's and Roberts came more or less in line with exactly in line with guidance at 86 cents. Revenue looked like it was better. Dividends looks like it's paying no dividend. Original expectation was for 30 cents. Let's see what happens with Murray's. And then British American Tobacco coming out later. Headline earnings per share expected £2.17. £2.17, and a dividend per share of 97 pence. And then key factors today, Spanish GDP, German unemployment change at 11, there's M3 money supply out of Europe, and consumer confidence at 12. Germany CPI at 3 o'clock, durable goods orders at 3:30 out of the US, initial jobless claims, obviously that's the big one, and 5 o'clock the Fed Yellen testifies to the Senate. All right, let's have a look at a few charts. Okay, let's start with the Aussie. On Tuesday, we had quite a big reversal day out of on the Aussie, closed below the low of the previous highs, which is usually a bearish signal. Yesterday, we tried to bounce, we couldn't really get going. I think we ended up slightly higher on the day, but it looks like futures have opened quite a bit higher this morning, up 237 points. So we'll see if it can hold this level. Then there's a possibility that the Aussie rallies from here. If it gives up this initial bounce, then I would favour more downside coming. Possible targets if there is more downside. If this reversal candle plays out, you got the 20-day moving average coming in at around 41,665. Which is 1,000 points lower than 41,430 for the 50-day moving average. And if we have to draw our first sort of trend line that comes in just above obviously this would be a much bigger sell-off coming in at around 40,300. So we'll continue monitoring those levels, but for the moment, looking pretty strong on the day. Okay, Xara, this is one that Joe's been covering over the last few days. This 146 level, we were saying how important that was. It was also all over the Storm Twitter feed. So quite a big breakdown, and as soon as it broke down that level, it just gapped straight down, pretty much moved straight down to, I think the low was at 142, closed at 144. I think the next sort of target is going to be the previous low, and sort of very main big support here at around the 137 level. Next one I want to have a look at is AngloGold. AngloGold, after a massive rally, 50-odd% rally, it's had its first real reversal candle, or its second, should I say, in this up run. Closed below the low of the high day, and quite a convincing close in the States, down 4% in the States. The converted price in rands 186.50 in the States, so possible more downside out of AngloGold, but probably one that we want to start looking to buy on decent pullbacks. But I would definitely wait for a more significant pullback before entering, possibly around to the breakout of this double bottom at around 163. Aspen, I don't really want to give any trading advice on Aspen at these levels. Had a massive move up yesterday, coming into resistance around this 280 level, but really strong the whole day. If it does reverse off this level, then there's a possibility that it goes and retests if we get a major sell-off in the markets. Obviously, any pullback in Aspen remains viable. I think a lot of the analysts have also have much higher targets on this one. And then if I just draw the resistance line, we can see that breakout coming in around 270. So possibly for the very short term, if we get pullbacks and strength at around the 270 level, they could be worth buying. Otherwise, if we get a main sell-off in the market, then we want to look slightly lower, possibly at the 260 level where the 20 and 50-day moving averages are coming in. All right, let's have a look at Impalas. Came in with results. Looks like to me on a miss, but we can obviously watch the trade action first. Failed at this resistance line at 126. Has come down and is now testing support here at the 111, 112 area. The big sell-off yesterday was down, I think, around 4% yesterday. Obviously, someone knew the results before we did, but we'll see how it reacts around this level. If we get some more sell-off today, which could be likely given those results, then the next main support level, I would say, comes in around just above 100. So could still be a bit of downside left for Impalas if we fail this level. If we do, however, get a bit of a reversal from this level, then there's a possibility we get a bounce to go and retest that upper boundary. And then the last ones I wanted to show was FirstRand and Standard Bank. I'll start with Standard Bank. Standard Bank had a major reversal candle yesterday. Started at the previous day's high and the recent high, closed below the low of that day quite convincingly. It's the only one that hasn't actually reported yet. I think it reports next week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. The other ones, FirstRand and Nedbank, came out with pretty good trading statements, which pretty much helped it out on this recent bounce. I think it's time to monitor these banks. There could be a little more downside, especially if there is weakness in the market. This is quite a convincing candle. We may go back and at least test this important support at around 120. And that's all for today, guys. Good luck trading.